The University of Hawaiʻi is now in session. Here at Mānoa, there are over 20,000 students currently enrolled. Every day, even on weekends and holidays, students, faculty, and staff arrive at campus. And it isn't just classrooms and offices at UH. There's art, there's research, there's projects and events. Thousands of people even live on campus, so the campus is always powered on. But how have we been powering all of this? And with the rise of renewable energy, how has this campus changed over the years? Most of the power comes from the Hiko utility grid, specifically from Kahe Power Plant in Nanakuli, through the utility, transmission, and distribution lines through the two substations. Substation L, adjacent to the Murakami Stadium, and Substation M, behind John Abrams Hall. These substations transform the high voltage power into lower voltage power, so it can be distributed to the campus buildings via the underground campus distribution grid. Inside each substation, you will find multiple Hiko circuits providing the utility power demanded by the campus. These circuits are individually metered. There are 3 utility meters feeding Substation M and 3 for Substation L. Each of these meters can run most of campus, making the campus energy supply dual triple redundant. The substation meters record and send their data to Hawaiian Electric Company, and it shows as a totalized version of this in our monthly bill. We are also able to download this data, and the Office of Sustainability analyzes its progress to help inform decisions about the campus's future. This is what the raw downloaded data looks like. The average power in kilowatts is downloaded in 15-minute intervals, giving 96 data points for each day. But these numbers are difficult to interpret, so let's walk through a data visualization to gain a better understanding of this data. What you are looking at is a surface chart of all the available data from Hawaiian Electric Company for UH Mānoa's electricity demand, starting all the way back from 2014. This is the two substations' totalized power demand in kilowatts. In other words, the readings of the 6 meters, 3 at each of the campus's substations, are added together by HICO and used to calculate our electricity bill. This axis shows the date the data was taken, this axis shows the time of day in hours and minutes, and this axis shows the totalized demand in kilowatts. Looking at the entirety of the dataset, there are a few important things to note. Our power demand has been declining over the past 10 years. This is due to decreasing power consumption, energy efficiency projects, and renewable energy projects across campus. There is a noticeable drop in power demand when the COVID-19 pandemic occurred, and it has not increased back to pre-pandemic levels. If we take a look from the top down, you may notice some missing data. You can also see that the demand is at its highest between 10 a.m. and 5 p.m., when both the temperature and the amount of people on campus is at its highest. This can be seen from the side as well. Now that we have a general understanding of the data, let's take a closer look at our most recently completed fiscal year, from July 1st, 2023 to June 30th, 2024. Each of these spikes are the workdays of the week. Each trough is a weekend. The start of the school year, winter break, and spring break are all easy to tell. Power consumption visibly peaks in the fall, around September and October, when both the temperature and the amount of people on campus is at its highest. In fact, power towards cooling the campus is approximately 50% of our average demand. The HVAC systems have to work their hardest to keep everyone comfortable during September and October, so this is normal behavior. On the other hand, you may have noticed one anomaly in the data, the abnormally low point in early January. This is explained by the rolling blackouts by HICO due to a lack of solar power as well as the H-Power and Waiau power plants failing due to stormy weather, resulting in the lowest point of the chart for the year. Another thing to note is the peak demand. This has a big impact on how we are billed by HICO. It is easier to provide a consistent amount of power than it is to turn generators on and off, especially the older, slow-to-start steam generators used on island. Having high peak demands means that HICO must pay more to have the capacity to supply these peaks, and this is why we have the demand charge. The demand charge is calculated by multiplying the demand rate, set by HICO, by the average of the peak demand of the month and the peak demand over the previous 12 months. In early 2023, the demand rate was $23 per kilowatt. In 2025, it is now $28 per kilowatt. If we were in the same situation as we were 2 years ago, we would be paying almost $500,000 on this charge alone for every billing. Currently, we are working on ways to shave around 1,500 kilowatts from the peak demand days. This example shows what peak shaving 1,500 kilowatts would look like over 1 week. As you can see, when this is done, the area under the curves remains the same, meaning that this does not change the total amount of power we are buying from HECO. Rather, it limits how much power we buy at once, and flattens these peaks by using either batteries or changing our behavior on campus. In order to meet our renewable energy goals, we must first understand what is happening now and how we can move forward. I hope you found this video a great introduction to power at Mānoa campus. Ahui ho!